I have another middle schooler, and today I want to talk about ways that I'm going to be changing how I'm teaching him and the things that I'm going to be preparing him for as a preteen and middle schooler. Hey guys, it's Vani from Mrs. Mom's Homeschool, and welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, I've been homeschooling. This will be my 11th year, and I am making videos to help you guys in your homeschooling journey. Now, today we're going to be talking about homeschooling middle school. I am no expert in this, and it actually feels like my first time because with my oldest daughter, when I homeschooled her for 6th grade, I was kind of rushing the preparation because she really wanted to get into school for 7th grade. So I didn't have the opportunity to really teach her middle school. We did 6th grade, but we did it it was like a catch-up year. And then she went to school for middle school for 7th grade, and then she COVID hit and she was sent back home. So she did virtual school, and then 8th grade she continued with virtual school. So this is actually my first year homeschooling middle school. But from her experience and speaking to my older daughter and her experience in high school, she told me some things that she felt that she wished that she was better prepared for, and things that we didn't do because her going to school kind of just came out of nowhere. So that I'm trying to do with my son. So our plan for homeschool for our younger 2 children is not set in stone yet. And I'm thinking that it will depend on where they are at by the end of 8th grade, and it may be their choice to go to high school or not. Now, if they do go to high school, we do have a Christian high school that we have set out in our mind for them to go to. So that's kind of still up in the air for me. I have my pros and cons for both, but I need to prepare them as if they are going, so that if they do go, it's an easy transition. And if they don't go, they'll just have some great skills to use here at home. And they can also use those skills when they get to college. So here are some of the things, I have it in my notepad here, that we're going to be focusing on this year for middle school. So one of the things that we're going to be teaching, that I'm going to be working on teaching my son this year to prepare him for future work, is giving him assignments with deadlines. So my daughter told me that she wasn't used to having assignments with deadlines. And so giving him an assignment, what I'm going to do is take the assignments from our science unit with the good and the beautiful. They have the 7th and 8th grade extensions in their journal. So we're going to take one of those every so often, and I'm going to give him a deadline. I'm going to say this project here is due by, Friday. And then the first time I'm going to teach him how to break that up into smaller tasks and then have it done by Friday. So I'm gonna, without me reminding him, of course in the beginning I'm gonna show him how to do it and then remind him, but eventually by the end of the year I want him to be able to hand in an assignment to me without any reminders and without any help on his own. Another thing I'm gonna do is we don't do any tests. None of the curriculum that I have tests in them. So I'm thinking of creating, again, probably for science and history, creating tests based on the units that we're studying, and not all the time. Maybe at the end of the unit, have a test, and maybe even like an essay portion of it to get him into the practice of test taking and having to write essays for his test and having to write full answers to questions and true and false and multiple choice and all of that. And with that, I want to teach him how to highlight in his book and take notes in order to pass the test, how to make flashcards to study his vocabulary words, and all those things I really wish I did for my daughter. We are also going to be doing a maturation unit study this summer, like before school starts, with him. So he's going to be learning about all the birds and the bees and all that stuff, because we're moving into a time where we have a lot of opportunities where he's moving up in his grades with middle and high schoolers, and you just never know what may come up. And I'm not going to be there because most of these activities with our co-ops and at church are all drop-offs. So I'm not going to be there, and I can't always assume just because it's a homeschool environment or a church environment that the other kids are raised the same way that I'm raising my children, and I don't know what they're exposed to and what they may expose my son to. So I want him to be prepared before any of this happens, and let him know that he can always come to me and not be confused about anything. So we're gonna do the good and the beautiful maturation unit this summer. I'm nervous about it. I don't want to yet. I love the innocence that he has, but I know that it's coming. I'd rather him hear everything from me first before he hears it from another boy. And with that, I spoke about this in my last video. We're also going to be doing more social events. You know, when you get into that preteen and teenage years, friends become very important to their development. When you read all these books on development for teenagers, the brain actually is created to become independent of the family and of the parents. And because they're just starting to become, you know, they're transitioning. The teenagers are transitioned from childhood to adulthood. So it's a natural and healthy but painful for parents transition where the kids start to detach from us some. And if they're in school, you'll see, if you have a child who's in school, how much they're into their friends and how much their friends are like their entire world. So if you have a homeschooler and you don't have those social opportunities, I've seen other homeschooled high schoolers look, and I've spoken to some parents where they're depressed and they want to go to school because they have no friends and they're feeling like they're missing out and they're sad, and it's probably, a lot of that has to do with the developmental stage of their brain. They're wired to want those social relationships at that time. They're supposed to be leaning more towards their peers at that age in preparation for adulthood. As much as we don't want it to happen, it's a natural event that's supposed to happen in their lives, and I want to make sure that he has a good group of friends that he can transition with so that his mind is healthy, his emotions are healthy, and his social life is full. So I'm hoping to attend as many social activities as we can with our homeschool co-op and have as many play dates. And then, well, I guess they're not gonna be called play dates soon, but hangout dates. We still have play dates, you know, because he's still 11. In my eyes, he's still little, but you know, as the years go on, they're gonna be like more like hangout dates, I guess. So if you've seen some of my day in the life videos, you know that I really think it's really important for us to teach kids at this age apologetics. This is an age, maybe not now, he's only 11, but once they get older, they start having questions and questioning their faith, questioning their beliefs. They may meet other kids who don't believe or not, you know, believe in our same faith, and might get them to start thinking about things, or they may hear something. There's so much exposure, no matter how much you protect your kids, that you know, other ideas are introduced to them, whether you want it to be or not. So I want to make sure that my children have a solid foundation in their faith. I want them to know why they believe what they believe. And so we're going to be doing different apologetics studies these next few years with my son, so that he can have that strong faith and background of knowing why he's a Christian and why we believe everything that we believe. So this year I'm also introducing having him have his own devotional time. I want him to build his own relationship with God and have his own faith. So I got him this book. It's a boy's guide to making really good choices, and it's by Jim George. And Jim George is the husband of Elizabeth George, who does the devotionals that I use to study and grow my faith. So it's the same layout. If you've ever seen any of Elizabeth George's devotionals, and if you haven't, you should check them out. They're in thrift books. You can get them for like $4. It'll have a whole lesson, and then there's questions that he has to think about and answer. So he's going to be doing this for his devotional time. If you want to see what I'm using to teach my 6th grader this upcoming homeschool year, check out the video here, and make sure you stay tuned for the day in the life videos, because we're going to be looking inside how I teach, how all the different things that I just talked about, how they're going to be implemented on a like real life kind of view for you guys. So I'm going to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.